there was no more of that. I mean, it was not going to happen anymore. And when I wrote my book, there were 3 bullets left. I had the 3 pencils from the editor and the 3 bullets, and I call it lemons into lemonade because, yeah. But what a memory. Yeah, I'm glad it did.
Walter, how aware were you of this kind of stuff when you know, as a person who knew him?
You mean this kind of stuff? You mean how many bullets he had in his? You know, what I'm thinking, I'm sitting here thinking that one of the interesting things about Pryor was his courage, and and I think it was kind of helpless courage. I mean, some people are like they're courageous on purpose, and I don't think he was necessarily. And what I keep thinking is the time that there's one routine that he was doing it in Las Vegas. While he was doing it, Huey Newton walked in, and he said, Brother Huey's in the back, and he pointed at the camera and said, Brother Huey's coming in the back, Huey Newton. That's a hero there. And the cameras wouldn't move. And the cameras not moving, told me that he wasn't supposed to be talking about Huey Newton. And maybe he wasn't. But he couldn't help it because he saw the world in a certain way, and he loved that world in a certain way. And he acted that out. And you never got the feeling that he could control it, in any way. Not that we wanted him to, because we're part of his demise, right? We didn't want him to control everything because he lived in effigy for all of us. I mean, and that was like the big thing. He was the one who took on everything, and it had to kill him somehow. There's no way around it.
Yeah. I think we should take some questions from the audience.
Absolutely.
I know that Richard was a big Lenny Bruce fan. I was here last night and spoke to that. In a weird way, comedy's kind of like jazz. You know, Charlie Parker and John Coltrane, all these guys, best friends. But Train did actually work with her. But did Richard know Lenny Bruce at all?
No, actually, he almost met him one night.
Hear that, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So Lenny
And
questioned.
this is the composer of the music for Louis.
That's that. I want to know about
Yeah. He almost.
Carlin. Was he tight with George Carlin?
Not tight. They respected each other. They knew each other. They liked each other, but they didn't hang. No. I mean, that's just a fantasy. I mean, guys hanging like that. Obviously, hung out with Miles. That was a buddy of his. But he almost met Lenny one night in the Village Gaslight when he was performing. Yeah. And he was always sad about not having known Lenny because he was huge. Mom's Maybelline and Lenny. Huge. And Rich's.
Moms, right?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
they were calling me Trigger. At least I think that's what they were calling me.
Yeah.
Well, the son was in it, right?
Richard Jr. Rain wasn't in it. Yeah.
Look just like Rich, too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry? Richard had 6 children by 5 different women. Yeah, he didn't need any more with me. That's what we didn't. Marina's vision was that was really the focus of his work, and
Well, that's kind of like his work.
well,
All these.
It's a big story and it's complicated.
One of the kids sued me. Okay. Yeah.
And if we told the whole story, it really could have been a mini-series.
Could have been what?
A mini-series. I mean, a 5-hour,
Drama.
He's so much a product of his era, but do you think that he would have done comedy differently, or if he was more a product of his time? Or do you think that, do you think his comedy could be
still stands up to this day. I mean, you know, I think it's timeless, right?
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, was Richard shaped by the time he lived in? Of course, you know, of course. You know, he was. But, you know, I mean, he was talking about Muslims, be careful as Muslims, and those double Muslims. I mean, he was talking about that, right?
I like the double Muslim.
Yeah, the double Muslims. You know, he was, yeah, I think that, you know, at the end of his life, I mean, not at the end, but when he was sick, 95, 96, he wanted to go to the Comedy Store and do comedy. And you know, he just wanted to so much, even though he was so diminished. He was no longer the predatory creature, but stalking the stage. But he really wanted to do it. I mean, I think he'd be kicking ass today if he could, yeah.
But some of it, like where he comes from, is not like an era, but a particular place. You know, like a whorehouse in Peoria. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, if you were raised in a whorehouse in Peoria today, you might be telling Richard Pryor jokes. You know?
He was born on the edge.
Yeah.
You know, he was born on the edge.
And the edge is still there. The edge still exists, no matter what time you're in. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Dick Gregory was born in a whorehouse. He might have been political, but I don't think he was edgy like that, man. I mean, the things Rich probably saw in his life, you know, most people, the average human being, probably couldn't take.
Dick said the best thing about Richard Pryor performed brain surgery on America.
Period.
Dick was
That's the second best thing ever heard. The first one was the two sweetest words in comedy, Richard Pryor. So, I don't care who you are all over the world, you could be an Eskimo doing stand-up. You know Richard Pryor, man, or you better get to know him.
Right there.
Well, what do you think we're doing here?
Yeah,
We're you know, but you're right. A lot of people don't know about him, and you know, I mean, I see as you know, I'm in charge of his legacy and wanting the world to and securing that and enhancing it and making sure that everybody knows who the fuck Richard is. So you're right, but that's what we're doing here tonight.
And you know, he's still influencing generations of stand-ups, man. He's like Michael Jackson. I went to Prospect Park and Spike Lee did the first year, and little kids this big was dressed like Michael Jackson. I'm like, wait a minute, he's still touching generations. Bruce Lee is still touching generations. Richard is still, right? Young stand-ups, man.
Exactly.
The young shags out
You're
there.
right. That's a good point. Even though you don't know Richard, he's still touching generations.
He's still touching generations out there, man. Comedians today still patting their life after him. I just don't want them to think like he said in his book, you don't gotta go the same route. You know, but funny is funny, be funny. You know, so most comedians that I live in the comedy clubs, he lives in the comedy, that's our lives. That's not just our work, that's our lives. So I'm out there hearing it. And everywhere you go, any club, comedy club in the world, you're gonna hear Richard Pryor's name. That is heavy. We all still aspire to be that. We still aspire to be able to just, yo, this is me. This is me. You ain't the only one going through it. This is me. And that's what, when I was younger, hearing him laughing about it, you know, I was like, wow, I ain't the only one going through hard times out here in the ghetto and all of that. You could go up there and he was talking about where you was coming from, and you identified, more than you laughed, you identified and related to all of those winos. My dad was a junkie, so I identified with that. And I was like, damn.
I mean, yeah, I think when you talk about his legacy is that most comedians are students of the game, and they're looking at people like Richard and like Lenny Bruce, who maybe audiences aren't talking about, but if you were to take interviews with the top 5 comics right now, and you say, who are your influences, I'm sure they would all list Richard Pryor as in that, if not 1 or 2, and so I think that's the thing that's where the legacy still exists, is that there are comedians who keep him alive.